Hi, I'm Will Vizuete. I'm with the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering. So climate change is the global problem of our generation. In order for us to accurately predict how climate is changing, we have to have a good understanding of how aerosols are formed. Aerosols are liquids or solids in the atmosphere, and depending on their size and their composition, they can actually cool or warm the Earth. So an understanding of how these aerosols are formed is critical in our understanding of a changing climate. And it turns out that the oceans are a source of aerosols. They produce aerosols, and the gases that the oceans produce also react and form aerosols as well. And so in order for us to really understand our climate, we have to have a good understanding of how ocean aerosols are formed. And that's the focus of my research. So an understanding of how oceans produce aerosols not only requires an understanding of atmospheric chemistry, my own expertise, but also requires an understanding of how the oceans produce these gases that lead to aerosols. And for that, I rely on the expertise of Adrian Marchetti, who is with UNC Marine Sciences. And his research is specifically aimed at understanding how plankton in the ocean environment produce these gases that I then look into how they produce aerosols. And our team effort has allowed us to not only understand how the oceans produce these gases, but also how those gases lead to aerosols that impact climate. Understanding how oceans form aerosols is a challenging problem, mainly because we need a pristine environment, untouched by man-made sources, to really understand how oceans are forming aerosols. The Galapagos Science Center provides a permanent location in a pristine environment. It's unique to any place in the world to allow us to really understand how oceans form aerosols in a pristine environment. So climate change is a global problem, and the oceans cover the majority of our planet. So an understanding of how the oceans produce aerosols has global implications in our understanding of climate. So being at the Galapagos Science Center and the findings that we gain there allow us to understand how oceans produce aerosols, and then we can build that for the entire planet. So everything that we're learning at the Galapagos Science Center, we're going to use to create global emission inventories to allow us to understand how oceans produce aerosols and how that affects climate change. The Galapagos Science Center has been critical in allowing me to achieve my research goals. With the seed funding that they provided, and also with the permanent location in the Galapagos of a laboratory with staff and students. All those folks have contributed to allowing me to collect aerosols in the Galapagos and to understand how they're formed. This couldn't have been done without the resources and the laboratory, as well as the staff and students at the Galapagos Science Center.